I'm the disc golf guy. 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 And this is my video vlog.
Welcome to the back.
JohnE McCray with a high right-sided shot. Looking for it to get there and come down. Becker also goes with a high wide right hyzer, which is pretty much the shot everyone has to take if you're right-handed. Looks to be pretty nice here on hole 10. Cale checking his shot, he likes it. Last to tee will be Philo. Last on the tee here is Philo. Throws a nice shot off into the right. Looks like it may have finished a little too far left for him. JohnE McCray has 40 feet to go to the pin and throws his patented turbo putt, landing just underneath it. Becker is left with about 36 feet for his birdie opportunity here on hole 10. Hole 10 measuring in at 381 feet. And he gets it and it goes down. Birdie for Becker. Philo's left with about 25 feet, maybe 22 feet. It is up and in for Philo. Easy birdie for Philo. And Cale Leiviska looks to be within 10 feet of the pin. Should be an easy birdie for Cale as well. And just a little low, but good enough to get up and in. And JohnE McCray will card the only par on this hole. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. That's the end of hole 10 at the 2014 Memorial Championships. We are here on hole 11 and Becker has just thrown a forehand drive, which seems to have tailed a little bit to the right on the high end of the hill there. Next to tee will be Cale Leiviska. As I said, we are on hole 11, measuring in at 390 feet. Cale throws a very nice drive inside the circle's edge. Cale, what disc was that? Cale here is going to tell us what that disc that was.
That's an overstable D1.
Overstable D1. Philo has thrown out and to the right. Asking him to reel it in, and just inside the circle up there on the right hand side.
Thanks, guys.
JohnE McCray going straight at the pin.
Yeah, Johnny.
And nestling up nicely near Cale Leiviska's shot. There's your drives on hole 11. Chris's putt from circle's edge is just a bit short. He's going to have to settle for a par. Philo's birdie putt is up and in. Very nicely done by Philo. Gives himself a little round of applause as he did on the tee. I think that's his way of getting himself going here. He has not caught any breaks today, so we'll see if he can start turning things around here on hole 11. Cale Leiviska has this for birdie putt. Looks to be within about 20 feet. Oh, and Cale is just a bit high. Looks like he may have released a little high, or the wind may have picked up. He was putting uphill. JohnE McCray from 18 feet puts in. We'll take the birdie. We have Cale Leiviska and Becker taking pars. JohnE McCray and Philo Brathwaite birdies. Philo goes with the hyzer route out and around the tree here on hole 12. 12, which plays down an elevated basket. And it looks like it has sat down. He should be just inside the circle. Next on the tee is JohnE McCray. Johnny also goes high hyzer route and is a little bit left. Becker goes wide, high hyzer. Seems as if he has thrown a nice shot. We don't have a lot of feedback down at the pin. And Cale Leiviska's shot looks similar. Has come down just a bit on the left-hand side. He's going to leave himself a little bit of a putt. Johnny's putt is up and somehow comes out. That one's going to frustrate him a little bit. That looked like it was good on the right-hand side, and somehow that putt had come out on JohnE McCray. Cale's putt is up, and it looks as if he had just gone right over the top of the basket there. There's 2 consecutive putts with Cale being a little bit high. And Philo struggles slightly, as it looks as if his 18-footer, maybe he held on to it or had a lapse there, but Philo does not make good on 18 feet. Cale is in for his par, as is Philo. Chris is almost perfectly underneath the pin, so to speak. He will card the only birdie here. 290 feet, hole 12, and we have 1 birdie and 3 pars. Becker is on the tee here and has thrown a very nice shot. We are here on hole 13, which measures in at only 255 feet. However, there is a branch on that tee pad that is no more than 8 to 10 feet high, so the players must throw either directly underneath it or wide and around it. And we see Philo throwing a low shot, which skips up. A little bit of a roll, but he's still about 25 feet short of the pin. Third on the tee is JohnE McCray. A very, very low release as well. And he hits off of the elevated basket Last on the tee is Cale Leiviska. I don't think anyone would be offended by me saying these guys have not played exceptionally well today. The wind has been howling, and Cale wants to make me look silly by just parking that shot. So, very nice shot by Cale Leiviska. 255 feet, hole 13. Philo's putt is up and just a bit left. He will not convert on this birdie opportunity. Looks as if both Chris and Johnny still have good opportunities to do so. I'm going to all but consider Cale's already in. Next to putt will be JohnE McCray. And Johnny puts in nicely. He cards a birdie 2 here on hole 13. Chris Becker also cards a birdie 2. This will be Philo for par. And as I said, I'm going to count Cale's in already. He did make me look silly earlier. Let's see if he'll do it again. I'm guessing not. This one's going in. And he puts in. Hole 13, 255 feet, 3 birdies, and a par.
Chris?
After Chris threw a beautiful tee shot, we have JohnE McCray on the tee next. He has also thrown what looks to be a good-looking shot, looking for a little action, and landing next to that box will certainly work. Great shot by JohnE McCray. Third to tee is Cale Leiviska. Cale going with a high, wide approach. Looking for a little action there, a little roll. And he should be within 20 feet of the pin. Last on the tee is Philo Brathwaite. Philo looks like he may have gotten it up too high in the air. He is off and on the left-hand side. Philo's tee shot did go OB to the left, so this will be him putting for 3. It is up and hits the flag on top of the pin, and he will settle for a bogey 4. Chris Becker is putting for his birdie 2. I'm sorry my angle does not give this putt enough justice, as he has a very obstructed view over there. That tree hangs out in a multitude of ways and makes a very good putt there, although it was only 22 feet. Very nice putt by Chris for birdie. Cale has put himself within 22 to 25 feet. He's going to adjust the flag that seemed to have fallen off earlier. Little pro tip there. It was there before the round started, so he can replace it because that's where it should be. Secondly, that gives him a wind read before he attempts his putt. Again, a branch is hanging low on that side of the tree as well, and Cale goes with the low straddle and makes good for birdie. This hole measures in at 375 feet, however, plays probably more like 320 as it is downhill. JohnE McCray puts in nicely, leaving JohnE McCray, Cale Leiviska, and Chris Becker for birdie, and Philo with a bogey. Chris Becker seems to have released his a little bit early. It is heading wide left. JohnE McCray has unleashed a very nice shot off into the right. It's going to need to get left. We're going to be happy with that. And Cale has seemingly grip locked it slightly, or maybe pulled something in his back as he released that shot. That was a very uncharacteristic shot from Cale. And Philo, I think, was excited to be able to unleash one here, let out a little aggression. However, it looks as if it turned over, and he is wide right. Cale's approach shot is wide right and looks to be coming in nicely. Gets a good kiss off the tree. He'll be happy with a par 3. Philo looks to have thrown a little lower than he was hoping for, trying to play the wind. Chris throwing his approach shot. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if he was out of bounds or not. Looks as if he's gone about 20, maybe 25 deep of the basket. JohnE McCray lines up for a turbo putt, just a bit high and left, kisses off the tree. And Philo is good from 18 feet. Chris may be more like 15 to 18 himself. And that is good. I expect all 4 players here to take their par 3s. Again, hole 15 measuring in at 426 feet.
Are you Becker?
Chris Becker still has the tee here on hole 16, measuring in at 371 feet.
Beautiful, Becker.
And he has put it within 10 feet of the basket. JohnE McCray with a lower line, going straight at it as well. Oh, and takes a hot skip. Looks like he has gone at least 25, maybe 35 feet left of the pin. Cale Leiviska also goes with a lower angle of release. And similar to JohnE McCray's, takes a hot skip and goes to the left of the pin by 35. Philo goes high and wide. And comes in nicely. Great shot by Philo. JohnE McCray, is just short from about 40 feet, 45 feet. Again, he got that hot skip coming in. Next to putt will be Cale Leiviska, who is approximately 38, maybe 40 feet away as well. Cale's putt is up and hits the right side and does not fall in. It looked like it would, and unfortunately it does not fall for him. Philo is good for birdie from less than 15 feet. Chris, just a little less than 15 feet here for birdie as well. The winds have died down from what we saw a half hour or 45 minutes ago. Chris makes good on birdie. Chris and Philo with birdie 2s. Cale Leiviska and JohnE McCray will each take par 3s. That's 371 foot hole 16. Chris Becker still has the tee here on hole 17, which is 468 feet slightly downhill, and he has rolled seemingly out of bounds. It's hard to tell from this exact angle, but it looks like he is OB. Next on the tee is Philo. Like Chris, Philo birdied hole 16. I am nearly pin high myself, like I said, at 468 feet away. I expect a huge hyzer out of these gentlemen. Philo is coming at us, and he's going to play for a little bit of a skip, and maybe he can get a roll towards the pin, and hopefully he gets past those trees. That does look like a really good shot. However, as we may see, he may have that tree to contend with. Third on the tee, very quick, is Mr. JohnE McCray. Johnny shot's coming in, and he is just left of the pin. Looks like a good shot by JohnE McCray. And last but not least here, Cale Leiviska. Again, I expect him to play it a little bit wide, as he is doing. That might not be wide enough. And as people commonly do, they land on the left side of the pin. Looks like he's about pin high. However, he has at least a 25, maybe 35 footer from there. Chris Becker's shot did go out of bounds. He is laid up nicely within 10 feet. Cale's putt is up and is wide right, and he may have a little bit of a challenge from that position. As I said, those trees are very precariously placed. This is JohnE McCray's putt for birdie, and up and in. JohnE McCray with a great putt. Philo's birdie putt is also up and in. Very nice birdie by Philo. He will be him and JohnE McCray both with birdie twos. As you can see, the fountain is going off here, as it does every hour on the hour. And Cale taps in for his par. Final hole coming up. On our final hole.
Bye-bye. I should have changed my disc, man. I told you to change it.
And Philo has hung it wide to the right. He is out of bounds. JohnE McCray goes low, hanging it off to the right, and also throws it out of bounds on the right-hand side. Third to tee will be Cale Leiviska. Cale with a very good looking shot. It needs to sit down though. Oh, and unfortunately he has gone left and out of bounds. Chris Becker's shot is up and nearly identical to Cale's. It has come up short and left and has finished in the water. After throwing a wide right OB, Philo's got this for a layup. and has come up a little bit short of where he'd like to be. JohnE McCray also threw OB and has a very nice layup to within 10 feet. Chris Becker has almost 40 feet to the pin after throwing OB, and he goes up and over the basket. He's going to have to settle for a penalty 4 here. Cale Leiviska has the opportunity to save his par with this putt. Cale's par putt is up, and it looks like the wind had grabbed it and knocked it down ever so slightly. He hits the front of the basket. He's hoping just to walk away with a penalty 4 at this point. And a solid putt by Philo to finish the round. He has had a very rough day, and I'm sure he's just ready to forget about this round and come back tomorrow strong. He ends with a penalty 4, as does Cale Leiviska, as will Chris Becker, once he puts this in from 10 feet. And JohnE McCray will do the same. All 4 of our leader card members here carding bogey 4s on the final hole. That's hole 18, 400 feet from Fountain Hills.
He's the disc golf guy, and that was his video blog.